So you're welcome to the Hub podcast, powered by CRESTHUB, and you know who it is. This is yours truly, Noah Omahi, and with me today, I have someone who is a tech bro, a pro tech bro, a senior tech bro by excellence. He is someone who has done a lot for himself. If you have visited our website, we wrote a story about him on his transition to becoming the Chief Operating Officer. Yeah, he's our Oga at the top. Basically, he's our Oga at the top. And you know the podcast is for tech bros and non-tech bros alike. And you know our line, our tagline, that line that we never forget. We do not all code, but you know the code. So before I go into just telling you about CRESTHUB and now forget the person who is my guest, let me introduce him. He is no other than Mr. Bashir Sheidu. So you're welcome, sir, to the podcast.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, so before we go into deep in the podcast, I wanted to just share your journey, see how you rose to the ranks of Chief Operating Officer.
Oh, wow, okay. Yeah, I think when we started the Hub, I actually started as the brand manager, you know, and from there I rose to become the community manager. That's in NHub Nigeria.
Yeah.
So, and we've always had the intention of having a foundation, you know, because when we started the Hub, what we were doing was actually social impact, and we started with the foundation per se, but it wasn't registered.
Okay.
So by the time we started NHub Nigeria, we now, you know, we decided to say, okay, let's leave that aspect quiet, and we started running NHub Nigeria. So by the time the foundation now came up,
yeah,
you know, it was just natural. Everybody know that yes, I was passionate about social impact.
Okay.
So it was just natural for me to head to become the executive director of NHub Foundation, you know, which where I have been for the past 3 years per se.
Okay.
Before the appointment of the COO came up.
Yeah, a little bird told me that you were one-time social media manager of NHub. Now, how was that experience for you?
Yeah, absolutely, it was great because in fact, it was an amazing journey, and you need to understand that I had no idea what social media was all about when I became a social media. Wow. So I was able to learn, because you know, one thing with the tech ecosystem that you need to learn fast. You understand? Okay. Your brain needs to become that sponge. You understand, and stuff like that. So when the CEO then said, "Hey, we're having an issue with our brand and people are not knowing what we're doing. You know, the stories are not out there." I was like, Bash, I think you do good with the social media, whatever. So I want you to become the social media guy for the Hub. And I'm like, okay, you know, then it's all about, you know, it's a startup, so we need to just, you know, to make ourselves very, very, you know, flexible, you know. So the next thing that came to my mind was, okay, how do I do this? You know, I can't tell my boss I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? So how do I do this? So the first thing I did was that Google became my best friend. Google became my best friend. So at night, you know, after I close from work, I go to Google, try to, you know, learn one or two things, you know, and stuff like that. So from there, I was able to, you know, learn and, you know, and that's how we grew the brand NHub.
Now, you've been in NHub for how many years?
I think I've been in NHub for close to 8 years now.
Close to 8 years?
Yes, I think it will be 8 years now, yeah.
Then you became executive director from 2019, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, executive 2019, yes, absolutely.
So those other years were your years of grooming yourself?
Absolutely.
Now, did you hate it?
I wouldn't say I hated those years, but there was a lot of hard work, you know, that went into it. It was those years that, yeah, I wouldn't say I didn't feel. I failed a lot, but I think one thing with me is that when I fail in something, I just believe that it's just another way of doing, you know, something. So I don't just, you know, give up hope. You know, I still put in my best to see that yes, I'm able to achieve. You know, that. So it was a really trying, you know, time for me. As I said earlier, I'm a techie and I had no idea what social media was all about. You know, so I needed to begin to, you know, as I keep saying, unlearn, you know, certain things and begin to, you know, relearn, then upskill myself. So that was one thing I did, and you know, it was a trying time, but it was super exciting because I learned a lot. Okay. I learned a lot.
Yeah. So your tagline for NHub Foundation and NHub is to make it a better place.
Yes. Now, build back better.
Build back better.
Yeah.
Now, and formally, NHub has been referenced to be a social event center and a computer center. Now, how do you intend to address these two? Because anytime someone says NHub, a lot of my friends actually will tell you NHub, that place where they do poetry hangout. So how do you intend to address it?
In fact, this is amazing. You know, when we spoke, I dashed to town, you know, to drop something with a friend. And as soon as I got there, the first thing he said, because we're just meeting for the first time this year, and he said, "Congratulations, Bash." And honestly speaking, I'm so happy with when we saw the announcement. We're super excited, and because everybody, just what you just said, everybody is saying the hub was dead.
Yeah.
You know, and stuff like that. People saying that just to echo what he said, that it's an event center, you know, and stuff like that. And we're going to change it. As I said, we're going to build back better. And you should know that a hub is also a place where people are supposed to meet. People are supposed to have meetups in a hub.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Yes, it's a place. That's why it's called a hub.
Yeah.
The whole idea is to bring in talents, you know, from different fields, you know, and see how they meet technology. So that narration of when people say it's an event center, it's actually not an event center. It's a meetup ground. You understand? But I know that yes, some of the things we're supposed to be doing, we weren't doing. And
now, what are those things that you were supposed to be doing that you weren't doing?
Yes, for example, we're supposed to have more of tech meetups. You understand? Not more of other people bringing the event.
Okay.
You get? So even if we have other people bringing the event, there should be a link between tech and whatever they're doing. But if you look at most of what those guys were doing, was just strictly what they were doing. So it was just as if we were just renting space for people to actually, you know, just use their event and they leave. Yeah. You understand? So that was what they're giving the people, those narratives. Yes, impression that nothing is happening. Because if we're, for example, if we're engaging the creative community, so there should be a link with tech. Okay. You understand? Because tech actually drives every process, you know, you understand, in most of the sectors, you know, and stuff like that. So that's where the people begin to people got those ideas that we're now an event center. But we want to change that. Okay.
Now, in our last interview that we put out for the blog, you said that you were going to introduce training models. Now, this is 2022.
Yeah.
How have you done that? How have you done justice to those training models that you said you were going to introduce? Or are you still trying to fit into the office of the CEO before you kick off, or you started already?
Okay, yeah. In fact, I think everybody went for holidays. I think I'm the only person that comes to the hub with some of my, you know, my team.
Okay.
And for those program I said we're going to be implementing. In fact, we started that in the foundation already.
Okay.
You know, that was the beauty. You understand? So now it's about us scaling up what we're supposed to do.
Okay.
For NHub Nigeria too. So, for example, for some of the training we're bringing, if you remember, I talked about the Pandora's box.
Yeah.
So the Pandora's box is an innovation we actually designed, designed for training, you know, young people. You know, and we brought in some models who call the experiential learning. So this time around, you don't have developers coming to teach. You understand? You understand? You have the box teaching, then you also have experts having conversation with the students. So it aids growth. It aids it aids how the student learn. You understand, and stuff like that. So those programs are already in place. In fact, we have students already using those models already. So we can't even wait to have the students resuming on the 10th, you know, of January. So
okay.
we just escalate what we're doing, you know, and stuff like that. So the models are already there.
Yeah.
So we don't have any issue with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. On the issue of your team, you know, you saying nobody is indispensable. One time you told me nobody is indispensable. Anybody can be replaced. How has that been?
Yeah, and I think we had, for those in the foundation, you know, we've been working for close to 3 years now. Okay. So I think I've modeled them to suit what I really want, and they understand how I want them to work. So for the foundation, we had no issue at all. You understand? So what I did was that I had the meetings. I had a meeting with the CEO of NHub Nigeria, and I also had a meeting with the team he had, you know, and I was able to explain some of how I want us to operate and some of the models I'm trying to, you know, to implement. And I was surprised that a lot of them were actually excited about what we have, you know, and they are eager to learn, you know, and in fact they've been having conversation with the team already in the foundation, and I think the transition has been cool. You get, so, but we're still looking and we're still watching. So if, as I said, anybody doesn't meet, you understand. So yeah, we just have to.
So are there like projections for this year that people should expect since Oga Bash is in charge? No, are there like projections this year?
Yeah, absolutely. The whole idea that we want to, as I said, build back better and have more people coming to the hub. You get you. We're changing a lot of things, and I know if you've been around the hub, you see a lot of things happening already. You understand? We're putting up amazing stuff and amazing programs for people to really enjoy and see that yes, this is what a hub is supposed to look like. This is what a hub is supposed to do. This is how a hub is supposed to identify and polish those talents that we have around. There's a lot of people. As I said earlier, by December we should be able to have trained more than 1,000 students. That's what I'm looking at. Students and personnel. So we have a lot of expectation for the year, and I know a lot of people are also expecting a lot from us.
Yeah, personally, I'm expecting a lot from Oga Bash. I am personally expecting a lot from Oga Bash. Now, there's this question that has always been in my mind, and I'm going to ask you this question because you are a techie. Now, the question, someone referred it to be a jam question the day I decided to ask it. Like, when I was like, okay, Jos, now, when you try to see Jos, and model Jos with what is happening with what the world out there. Now, do you think that Jos has the possibility to attract angel investors? Now with NHub, now with you, do you think Jos has the ability to attract angel investors to come invest in what we have here? Because when you look at outside, you get to see fintech growing well, agrotech, edtech, but here, do you think, as the chief operating officer of NHub, do you think Jos has that capability to do that?
Okay. Absolutely, and I believe if we cannot attract angel investors to Jos, then I think I will look at it as we failed. We failed the entrepreneurship, we failed the startup, the whole startup culture. And I remember, I think 3 or 4 years back, we started something. I think the CEO of NHub Nigeria started something called the Jos Angel Network. So we had like 2 sessions and everything just went down. And it's simply because of probably because of the model you get. And I think 4 years ago I was in Abuja and I met with the Abuja Angel Network, and we had an in-depth discussion with some of the guys there. And what I realized is that most of the angel investors in northern Nigeria then were not really interested in tech startups. Okay. You understand? They were more interested in in the agro startup, but in startup in businesses that technology do not really drive. Okay. You know, the whole idea is that if you can have an amazing idea that can employ more people, they are cool with it. You understand? So that was the little problem. I know what we're doing here in Jos, we were trying to promote tech startups. Okay. You understand? Yeah. So when technology drives your business, it is a tech startup. And some of these tech startups take time for them to grow and and stuff like that. So that's what some of these investors are really not. They are not really patient about. And so that's why you need to have what we call a vibrant incubation program. Okay. Because that is where you're supposed to bring out those startups. You understand? And stuff like that. And where the startups are able to pitch their ideas to potential investors. But if you don't have that, I think that was the major problem, because the angel network we had here, we realized that most of those startups some of them don't even know the valuation of what they when an investor says, okay, please value your startup, you see most of them don't even know how to value their startup, and it's simply because they do not pass through the incubation.
Would NHub provide that education?
Absolutely. In fact, that's one of my key. Whatever the foundation will be providing those services, and NHub Nigeria will also be providing those services, because for this foundation, social innovators, because the what we call social innovation, those social innovators, they are supposed to come through that process. Then for those that are for profit, pass through the NHub incubation. So we'll be having that. I will put more emphasis on that this year. Yeah.
So there's this allegation leveled against NHub.
We're in trouble.
There's this allegation leveled against NHub in regards to the Code Plateau 1.0, whereby an instructor said that NHub said they have not been paid, hence he too has not been paid. Now, how do you intend to combat that as both the chief operating officer of the foundation and NHub itself?
Okay. I think then I was not really totally aware of what was happening, because I was not like fully in charge of what was happening then. But I think I've heard a lot of stories about the Code Plateau. And what people need to also understand, that the Code Plateau is not NHub's program. Okay. It is for the state. You understand? And I think there are certain agreement between the states and the implementing partners around, which I really don't know, the in-depth of what, but I've heard a lot about this. So these are some of the issues I'm going to be looking at, and I assure you I'm going to look at those problems and I'm going to try to solve them. You understand? So I will try to speak to both parties and see how we can reach, and so and I don't want people to keep thinking that this, NHub, we don't do that, and I think things might have happened, and stuff like that, but I'll try my possible best to say that yes, we take care of this, and just to salvage the image, from what people are saying.
Yeah, because a lot of people are like, okay, NHub, and anytime I hear about Code Plateau 1.0, a lot of people will be like, NHub.
Absolutely.
Someone said that it was a result of that. That's why it was shifted. The recent fellowship program was shifted from NHub because of the whole controversy around NHub. And you made mention of the Just Angel Network.
Yes.
So you are going to implement it?
Absolutely. We'll see how, because when we have a viable and a viable incubation incubation program, definitely that will attract the angel. So we've started working on that with the incubation manager already. To see how we can talk to some of these angel investors, and stuff like that. So that means we need to also host a lot of startup events. You understand? And that is the only way where these startups can actually showcase what they have. You get so, and that will also build them. You understand? Pending when we begin to have this this pitch event, that these angel investors will be around for them to listen to what.
So when should we expect the pitch event?
Yes, the first quarter of this year.
Okay,
yes, first quarter of this year, we were working towards that. First quarter of this year. Yes, we'll see the first pitch pitch program. Yeah.
So everybody that is into tech can come.
If you're even into any business, like agro, as you said, agro, fintech, edu, you understand? Yeah, it's open to every startup. Yeah.
Okay, now you are someone who is changing the narrative, and a lot of people won't appreciate you changing the narrative because a lot of people are familiar with the story they've been told. How would you want your message to be passed?
Wow. I think I will refer back to my slogan, building back better. We used to be the number one go-to hub back in the days, right? Yeah. We had international partners, we have local partners, and we had a lot of people, excited about what we do here. Before, I call it the little incident that happened and everything. And I just want to plead with the general public that we've changed, and I think one of the problems we faced, and I think it's part of what I'll be teaching, very, very soon, teaching young entrepreneurs, teaching young CEOs, is that you should know how to manage success. I think that was one of our major problems, being young guys, started something, and there was that big hit, and we forgot that, hey, it's a startup, you need to also work, and we left, and, a lot of things happened, and stuff like that. So managing success, I think, was part of our little problem.
So you intend to manage success?
Yes, you need to know how to manage success. When you know how to manage success, then you know how to build a better and a reliable brand. And that's exactly what we'll be doing.
Now, whenever you're not coding or programming or teaching tech or doing anything related to tech, how do you relax?
Honestly speaking, I'm a game freak. In fact, I was in the UK just early this year, and I wanted to get my PS5. If I was crazy about PS5, and stuff like. So I went out with my brother for shopping, and I got to the mall. I got to the mall. I saw the price, and I realized that when I get back to Nigeria, I have rent to pay, and I don't want to sleep in the car. So I said, okay, bro, I think I should manage the PS4 for now and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm a game freak, and part of what I do, I play a lot of games, and I watch movies, and I play football, and stuff like that. So I think that's how. And I'm also a farmer, I'm also a farmer, so I have my little garden just behind my house. So I just go there to just relax and just spend a little time with nature.
I was expecting you to say you would probably be reading a book, but hearing the game parts.
It's funny because people think, funny enough, sorry, but to be sincere, I don't like reading. But I don't like reading, but I think it's something that I want to do. But I go through a lot of digital books, and stuff like that. But holding a physical book is something I can't really do. I don't know why. So you can give me a book, I won't read it, but when it's online, I read it.
Okay.
So I think that's what the little issue I have.
Okay. Yeah. So what's your advice out to every young person out there trying to venture into tech?
I would say it's not too late to start.
Okay.
You need, in fact, the time to start is now.
The time to start is
yeah,
now.
2022 is going to be, in fact, 2022 is going to be an amazing year. I talk about young people taking new skill set. You understand? Unlearning, relearning, and upskilling. Tech is actually the future, and with that, you'll be able to fit into any sector.
Okay.
You don't need government to give you jobs. The government, I think for the past close to 9 years, I've been working for myself. I've no government and whatever, and I've been surviving. And we need to begin to change the narrative, you understand? We need to begin to build ourselves, and that is the only way we will benefit in the digital economy. And that's where the future is heading to, and stuff like that, yeah.
Okay. So thank you very much, sir, for your time. I sincerely appreciate it. This is the Hub Podcast, brought to you or powered by CRESTHUB. And do remember to give us a 5-star rating on all podcast platforms. You are listening to us on Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, on Anchor, and every format you are listening to us. Till again, we'll come your way again next time with another tech bro. Remember that the podcast is for tech bros and non-tech bros alike. And the tagline still remains: we all don't know how to code, but you know the code. So this is from me and Oga Bash telling you bye for now.
Thank you.